They come all the way from California. They love science. They love improv. And most importantly, they love each other. Let's hear it for Andrew and Mithra!
Hi everyone, this is Mithra.
This is Andrew.
And we're
Andrew and Mithra!
We are so excited to be here at the Wasatch Improv Festival. So Mithra and I often discuss big life changes. So we would love an audience volunteer to tell us a few things about themselves. Specifically, we want to hear two things. One, when they were a kid, did they want to be when they grew up? And two, what do they do now? So can we get the house lights up? Please? And would anyone like to briefly tell us their story?
Oh, there, I see a hand up. Two, and it's saying two things.
So I always told my parents that I was going to be a doctor throughout the entirety of my childhood, that I was going to be specifically a surgeon, and then I ended up being a teacher of communication at a university.
So what is the entire of your childhood? Like from what age to what age? Like when did it stop?
So from the age of 4 until the age of 18.
4 until 18.
Wow. So you didn't necessarily want to be a doctor, but that you kind of wanted to because your parents wanted you to.
No, I just really loved
you really wanted
everything
to.
about doctors. And then I took an anatomy and physiology class and realized I didn't.
Oh. So you wanted to be a doctor, like in theory, until you learned about what doctors actually do.
Yeah. Anatomy and physiology in particular. I did have a quick. Did you have an idea about what type of surgeon, or was it just like surgeon?
I just wanted to be somewhere in the ER where I could fix people that were very bloody and broken.
Oh.
And you said right now you are a teacher of communications.
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
So in Pocatello, Idaho, at Idaho State University.
Woo! Yeah!
Nice.
State University. Okay, do you know anything about what, we don't know what.
I don't know anything about communications.
Like, do you teach people?
I teach the basic speech class, so the traditional class that everyone has to take in college that they hate, where they have to give 3 different speeches.
Mm.
Oh, okay, so.
How to enunciate.
Yep.
Oratorical thingies. Oh, cool.
And do you like your job now?
Yeah, I love it.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing. What's your name? Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
Something strange about the scheduling.
Well, Dr. Remnick, the ER nurses are just completely overstaffed, and they just put me in charge of being the head nurse, and I don't know what I'm doing.
It's as though they want me to be in 2 operating rooms at once.
I'm sorry I double booked you, Dr. Resnick. It's just that it's so hard to say no to patients. When just one patient comes in with a broken arm and another person comes with a broken femur, how am I supposed to choose what's worse?
Wait, Steph, you did this?
Yes, I just took on the job as head ER nurse. I'm very proud of it, but also it's very stressful.
Well, settle down. And I think you're trying to overcompensate because you're stressed out. And you're trying to overbook, not yourself, but me and other doctors.
I need to show you the books, Dr. Resnick.
I've seen the book.
No, you haven't seen this book. I used my 3-point binding technique, and I tried to classify all the different types of traumas. Sometimes there are blunt force traumas, and sometimes they're more penetrating traumas. Sometimes you have a heart attack. Sometimes it's just a person who's drunk who comes in, but because he's basically not, he's got a GCD score of like 3, you still have to admit them in. And so I classified the types of diseases, I classified them and cross-verified them against the specialities of all of our ER staff, and I had to take into consideration the fact that some of them are rotating through the other level 2 trauma centers, in our county, and it's just, it's that's not even the complicated part, guys. I also cross-validated it against, let me bring out this other binder, against the performance histories of all of the staff. Let me show you this page.
That's used to be where we kept the liquor.
That's not how I plan to run this ER. Dr. Resnick, this job matters to me. And when you asked for me and I know nobody else wanted the job, but still, you asked me to do it. How could I not bring anything but 120%?
Listen, Steph. Did people tell you why no one else wanted this job?
They just simply said it's not for them. I asked Kaylee, she is my best girlfriend in the ER, and it's just such crazy hours, and you really don't hang out with anybody else, and the only other person you see is your staff nurse and the one nurse you communicate with in the change of shifts, and so it's only Callie and Rosie is going through a transition, and a lot of people don't get that.
You need some scotch.
I call
Listen, surgery is more than diagrams and figures and notebooks. Surgery is people's lives. If you mess up, they're dead.
I know, Dr. Resnick. I know, and I take that responsibility very, very seriously. When I was 16, I saw my mom, and she was drunk all the time, and I'd just come back home from school, and I'd be like, Mom, where's lunch? And she'd just be like on the floor, and I didn't know whether she was, alive. And I called 911 so many times, and I have been to the ER where they admitted my mom, and all the ER nurses were always so sweet to me. They always turned their head like this, oh. Oh, it's you again.
Everyone in the field has
They couldn't even remember my name, but they would always go, oh.
Everyone has a similar story. Something traumatic happens. They couldn't save them. So they say, when I grow up, I'm going to save people.
In my case, I just wanted to be that ER nurse that could go, oh. You again.
You could be a veterinarian. Animals are cute, and when they die, it's not quite as big as a deal.
Dr. Resnick! It's terrible! Just last year, I adopted a 19-year-old cat because nobody else wanted her. And she had stage 3 kidney disease, and every 3 days I had to give her subcutaneous fluids, and when she passed, it was so sad. Poor Lily. She just was...
Yeah, but cats don't sue you for malpractice.
They don't! I just want you to know that you have hired the best person for the job. Because I even made a book for you with your performance history. Like, for example, this is your operating notes from your 19... What?
What did you do with all the liquor?
Oh, I just had to make room, so I put it in the storage closet in the West Wing.
Wait, so you've been, stalking me, basically?
Not stalking just you, all the staff. I have this correlates operating records with the number of visits to the local bars. And I tracked that information from just anecdotal evidence. Just, oh, he came in with a red eye, or he looks like he didn't get enough sleep, or I saw them both making out in the closet. And sometimes these days with Facebook, it's so easy. But you know what? Your records from the 1970s, it's a little bit shrouded in mystery.
Well, it was the 70s.
I couldn't get a lot of details on it.
Things were pretty hazy. I mean, for a number of reasons. But record keeping back then, it just wasn't so strict.
Is it
We
true?
just kind of did what we wanted.
I know that. Is it true that you tricked a man with a stick on the field?
Well, I guess you could call it a stick.
Oh my gosh, it's true? I just thought it was a myth. Okay, you have to tell me this story. Oh my gosh, I found a record from Mariposa County. It was a complicated name. It took me a while to register. But Mariposa County that basically said that a Dr. Resnick, they didn't have a first name, they had a last name. They said a Dr. Resnick arrived on the scene under very mysterious circumstances because he was not even in the rotation of that particular staff system, but arrived on the scene and mysteriously just happened to have the antidote for a cobra poisoning.
So let me tell you something. My parents had this dream. They worked in the circus, and they worked with a number of animals, including snakes. So I had a lot of experience with snakes, but they didn't want that life for me. So you know what they named me? They named me Doctor. That's my first name.
Wow! And here I thought there was just a record error.
Well, it causes a lot of record errors.
So that explains why I just thought it was a typo. That explains why under several of the more recent records I found Dr. Resnick. I just figured it was a typo that just carried on from the paper system to the electronic medical records that we've shifted to in the recent 2000s.
Yeah, well, it was, a running joke in med school. People saying, "Doctor, doctor!" And then I would, turn my head and they would all laugh. That's my name, Dr. Doctor. Well, Dr. Resnick, that's what I formally go as.
Dr. Resnick, do I need to drink this scotch to be your head nurse?
You don't have to. I'm saying that once you get out there in the trenches, so to speak, you're probably going to want to.
All right. Our shift hasn't yet started, so we have about a minute or two before the chaos ensues. And I take
have to
over
be
from
apparently
Callie.
in surgery room A and surgery room G.
I'll fix that. I just didn't really want to put Dr. Frederick in to do it because last night he drank a lot. And
Frederick can't hold his liquor.
Ew, he can't. He so cannot. We were at the bar and he just had 3 Coronas. And then later that night he was like, "Do you want to drive home?" And I'm like, part of me was like, I did want to ride home, but also I was like, I'm good. So the reason why I didn't put him on the staff is because I wasn't sure he was going to show up today, and it's 2 minutes in, and he might not show up today, which means you're the only one on staff. And so the main question is, broken arm or femur?
Well, femur.
Oh. Ooh.
Very nice, Nancy. Very nice. Very nice. I can tell you've been practicing.
I have. I made sure to incorporate some of the warm-ups.
Have you?
Suggested. Yes.
You've been very diligent about your warm-ups.
The vocal warm-ups, and it's just that it's 2 minutes before the curtains open, and I just want to make sure that I'm ready. I think I am.
Well, I think you're going to do magnificently.
I have written some cheat sheets on my wrist.
Oh.
Just the key highlight points. And
Well, with the podium there, the audience won't know any difference.
And, I think I am really going to win this electoral district over. Especially with your coaching, I think, why can't I be the mayor of this beautiful city? It's like Idaho. Yeah, Boise, Idaho. Yeah. Yes, and it's always been my dream. Because when I was younger, I just thought it was important if you were an engineer. That's what my dad said. And my mom said, no, be a doctor. And then my sister, because she just has to have an opinion about everything, said, no, you'll do shit at both of those careers. Be a scientist. But, it's something just about those canned careers, It's just the
No one really wants to do them.
What?
No, none of those things. What people want is power. They want to be powerful. And this is just your first step, Nancy. You become mayor of Boise, Idaho. Sky's the limit. Let me tell you something. 'Cause I know a lot about communications. And if you can communicate an idea well, you can sell anything.
Well, we're trying to communicate my idea that I'm going to make sure that, your street lights, are all turned on and our schools and our teachers are well paid for. I know I care about that. And, I'm not doing it for the power. I want to make a difference.
Well, yes. But to make a difference, you need to be powerful. Someone who was
Can you just
working
give me some scotch? I'm just so nervous. I don't think I can do this. Oh my God.
You don't need alcohol to do simple speech. You just need to run your drills and your practice and stretch those chords. Trust me, once you win over this audience, then you become the mayor. Once you're the mayor, you establish yourself and you become part of the political inside. And you start making powerful friends. And then maybe you run for state senator. And then you win. And then you have direct contact with the most powerful people in this country. And you communicate your ideas well to them. You can convince them of anything. The most powerful person in the world is not the President of the United States.
It's the
It's who has the
speechwriter.
president's ear.
The speechwriter. Which
The
is you.
speechwriter.
Oh, man. Okay. Travis, I know I hired you because you were the best speechwriter in all of Boise, Idaho. All right?
That's what they say. Won a few awards.
I know that. You won the Presbyterian Award. You won the Capitarian Award. Hell, I don't know how, but you won the award in San Francisco for writing that speech for Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
And you just
It was a good move for her. She wasn't working out in LA.
It's like she wasn't prepared to come out as being gay, but she did. And look how, it changed her life.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm just having so much of mixed feelings about this because when I heard you just laying those steps, mayor, senate, presidency, then maybe I become a speechwriter. I don't know. It just seems like it's just another canned career, just like being a doctor or an engineer or a scientist.
Being a speechwriter is not a canned career. Don't dare say things like that.
Sorry.
This is very important to me. It's a very important job. It's not one of those canned careers that parents force upon their kids. No one grows up thinking they want to be a speechwriter. It's a calling that they experience completely on their own. I made myself who I am. And I'm going to make you too.
When did you know you were going to become a speechwriter?
When I was 4 years old.
Let's hear for Andrew and Mithra!